Good day, everybody. Good day, and welcome. Welcome to Morning Sip with Rev Melissa. It's wonderful to be with you all today. Yes, Yahoo Wayne. Yes, I'm feeling all of that energy, Wayne. Thank you. Thank you. So, welcome to Morning Sip. And sip is spirit in practice because it's all about the practice. It's all about the practice. So, it's wonderful to join you all here on New Thought Media Network. And we are in a new series, Margaretta. We started our Now What series yesterday. And so we're going to dive deeper. Those double D's get me sometimes. We're going to dive deeper, Nan, into our Now What series. All right? All right. So yesterday I gave you some homework, right? I gave you some homework, Gladys. And the homework was to answer the question, what do you want? What do you want? Did you start your homework? Hmm? Did you start? Because remember what Madam C.J. Walker said. I shared this quote yesterday. It's pretty hard for the Lord to guide you if you haven't made up your mind which way you want to go. Which way do you want to go, Vanessa? Which way do you want to go, Lenora? Right? We got to give the universe some information that it could work with, right, Tim? We got to give it some information. So now what? That's what the universe is asking us. The universe is like, okay, all right, now what? Okay, here. Okay, here you go. All right. Now what? Right? So we're going to use the life visioning process to guide us in answering those questions, to guide us in connecting to God's idea for our life. So that's our focus for today. So our Now What series is exploring God's idea for our life. What is God's idea for our life? So before we get there, we're using Life Visioning, as I said. It's the book by Michael Bernard Beckwith. It's a book worth getting. It really is. So we're using this as our guide. We're going to explore the questions in the visioning process. And it really is a spiritual technology that he is inviting us to use, Pastor Al. And so this is what he says. He says the life visioning process is a life changing spiritual technology of conscious participation in the evolution of your consciousness. And that little sentence right there is a mouthful. So I just want to unpack it just a little bit. So he says it's a spiritual technology, right? We use technology all the time. We're using technology right now. Some of us are on Facebook, some of us are on YouTube, some of us are on StreamYard. We're using technology, but do we use our spiritual technology, right? Do we use the spiritual technology that is within us? Yes? What are you logging into every day? That's a question. What are you logging into? Right? Do you need to reboot your life? Right? We could use the spiritual technology. And it's just not any kind of technology, it's the technology of our consciousness. And so in the life visioning book, oh, y'all, here we go. Take two, the life visioning book. He guides us through the four stages of consciousness. And I go into the four stages of consciousness in the thinking series that you can check out on the podcast. And it's a great companion, right? Do the thinking series, go through the four stages of consciousness, because the consciousness that he's talking about is the fourth stage of consciousness, which is the consciousness of oneness. And then we could go beyond that into the consciousness, the cosmic consciousness, which is a stageless stage, right? But for right now, we're going to stay in that consciousness of oneness, right? So we're participating from that level of consciousness, not from our ego, not from our personality, not from the past, not from the future. We're in the present moment with the consciousness of oneness. That is the spiritual technology that we are using, right? And it's evolving. It's not stagnant, right? It's a movement, right? Greg Stamper, the pastor at Celebration Spiritual Center, he has a beautiful song called All of Life is a Movement Towards Your Greatness, towards your wholeness, towards your perfection, right? So that's where we are evolving as. Yes? All right. So a life-changing spiritual technology of conscious participation. You ain't sleeping, you are wide awake in the evolution of your consciousness. Okay, so that's what we're using. That's what we're using. And so remember, this is just a reminder. This is a sip, y'all. I'm giving y'all a sip, right? And we're going to take a deeper dive when we do our meditation with the moon on March 29th, because I'm going to take us through the whole visioning process. The whole visioning process. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Mark your calendars, March 29th. We're going in. We're going into the vision. Okay. So we're catching God's idea, right? We're catching God's plan for our lives. That's what we're doing. That's what the life process is. That's what the life visioning process is all about. So visioning helps us support to dream bigger, right? To get out of our own ideas. Sometimes our ideas for our lives are very limiting because we get into that thinking that we have to make it happen, right? And that's the consciousness of manifester, right? We think that we have to make it happen. We gotta push it, right? We gotta make it go. But when we're in alignment, when we're using the technology of spirit, we catch the bigger idea. We catch the bigger dream, right? We catch God's idea for our life. So it connects us to that higher knowing. That's why our spiritual practice is so important, because we get in tune with our higher knowing, our highest knowing for ourselves, for our lives, right? All right. And we have the thought of God. Reverend Michael says we have the thought of God. I just love that. What you thinking about? I'm thinking about the thought of God, right? Imagine that. I'm thinking about the thought of God. So, what is that? What is the thought of God? The thought of God is God's idea for your life. God's idea for your life. So, we want to transcend our limiting wanting. We want to transcend our limiting wanting, and we want to expand. We want to go bigger, right? We want to go bigger by entering into a field of unconditional love. And so the visioning process creates within us a field of unconditional love. And we're going to go through that field. We're going to get in touch with that field when we do the full visioning process, when we meditate with the moon on March 29th. I'm so excited about that, y'all. I'm so excited about that. So this is one of the first questions in the visioning process. So this is homework just to kind of get yourself familiar, right? Just to get you familiar with the questions, right? Because we're going to go into it later on. All right. So this is homework. What is God's idea for my life? That's the first question in the visioning process. So I want to read something to you from the book about that first question. So Michael Beckwith says, mentally place your question before the intuitive faculty. So we're getting in touch with our intuition, right? Our intuition is one of our mystical tools that we can use. Yes? So we're getting in touch with our intuitive faculty, the intuitive faculty of our higher self. We're getting in touch with a higher knowing within ourselves. Yes? All right. And we ask the question, what is God's idea for my life? Or he poses it in another way. What is the highest vision for my life? Right? What is seeking to emerge through and as my life? Or if you want to do visioning around a specific thing, like a business, he says, you can say, what is the highest vision for this project? What is the highest vision, Sekou, for Hero Hoodies? Yes? What is the highest vision, Gladys, for Asante's Jewels? Yes? So we could use visioning to help us to connect and catch God's idea for our business, for our relationships, for what that next thing is in our life, for where we want to move to. You could use it and apply it for everything in your life, everything in your life. So we listen. He says we have to listen with reverence. With reverence, that means you're being present. That means that you are locked in. You are locked in, right? You have to be alert. Yes, we are alert in the meditation, right? We're not going to sleep in the meditation. We are alert. Sometimes I do the visioning process and I fall asleep. And when you're getting guided through it, the person who's guiding you through it is oftentimes saying, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep. And I always want to say, stop saying that because you're making me go to sleep. Instead, say, you are awake. You are alert. You are aware, right? So that's just a little sneak peek because that's what I'm going to be saying to y'all when we do it. You are awake. You are alert, right? As though the greatest mystery of the universe is about to be whispered in your ear. Now, isn't that divine? You are in reverence because you know that the greatest mystery of the universe is about to be whispered in your ear. If that ain't delicious. And so the visioning process is all about catching that idea, right? Someone's asking, what is the visioning process? Is it like visualization? Okay, Facebook user. So there's a huge difference. And I'm not going to go deep into it right now because, like I said, this is just a sip, y'all. And I did visualization. I'll tell you tomorrow which sip that was. And you could go back and watch the whole sip on visualization because it's one of the spiritual practices that we can use. But visualization is more so about catching your own idea, to put it in concisely in that way. It's your when you're doing visualization, you're really using what you have already known to be, right? Visioning is beyond what we know. It's beyond what we experience. It's even beyond what we are thinking, right? It's seeing God's idea. It's going into the cosmos of ideas, right? So visualization is a powerful tool that we can use. It's part of our imagination tool, right? To go within and to just visualize everything that your heart is desiring. I do that a lot with my kitchen, right? So those of you who have been following me for a minute now know that I do not like my kitchen and I want a whole new kitchen. And so part of what I do is I visualize my new kitchen. And the important thing about visualization is getting into the feeling tone of it, right? So my feeling tone is about my kitchen is it is now on HGTV. That's how fly my new kitchen is, right? But that's not visioning. That is not visioning, okay? So visioning is catching God's idea. It's catching God's frequency, right? It's catching that which is beyond our own knowingness, right? We're connecting to God's knowingness, the universe's knowingness, okay? So that's beyond anything that we have already experienced. So I hope that answers the question. Okay? All right. All right. So, what is God's idea of itself as my life? Is another way that we could frame that question. And this question, every time I say that question, what immediately comes to my mind is God's idea of itself as my life is God's idea of being the mother to Aria and Zola. God wanted to have the experience of mothering Aria and Zola. And God is expressing that idea as me, as their mother. How divine is that? How wonderful is that, right? So what is seeking to emerge in your life is another way that we could pose that question. Sometimes we have to pose the same idea of a question in different ways because it hits people differently, right? So that's why I'm giving you the question number one in different ways. So what is God's idea of itself as my life? What is seeking to emerge in my life? What is the highest vision for my life? All the same question. All the same question, just posed in different ways. Okay? All right. So, what is God's idea for your life? Is question one, right? So, take that into your meditation. You're not really going to be doing a visioning around it. I just want you to get familiar with the technology, okay? With the spiritual technology. You know, when you get a new phone, you got to get familiar with it, right? You got to figure out what it's doing. You got to download apps. You know, you have to do a whole setup. So this is the setup, y'all. This is the setup. What is God's idea for my life? So spend some time in contemplation with that question, and something may emerge. Something may emerge, and just write it down. And the wonderful thing about visioning is that it could come in many forms. It could come in colors, it could come as pictures, it could come as sound. It uses all of our senses and our intuition, right? In answering the question. And sometimes the answer to the question may not make any sense to us. So in envisioning, we are not analyzing the question. We're just letting it be, right? And so we know from our new moon that we're in the vibration of moving from analyzing to being, to the intuitive aspects of ourselves. That is the cycle that we're in right now. Stop analyzing everything, right? Let it go. Just for a little while. Just for a little while. Just put down analyzing, rationalizing, trying to figure it out. Just lay that down. Just lay it down. You know what? If you want to pick it up later on, you can. But for right now, let's just lay that down, right? And let's go within and get in touch with our intuitiveness. Yes? And that's the vibration that we are entering when we ask that question. What is God's idea for my life? And then just wait. Just wait. Just wait. All right, y'all. So that's where we are. Tomorrow we're going to explore question 2, envisioning, and we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. And the grand finale will be when we do the visioning process on March 29th. All right, y'all. All right. So there we have it. The Now What series is on and popping, and we're going to continue it tomorrow. Get your question. You got it? What is God's idea for my life? Or what is seeking to emerge? Okay? Whichever one you want to use is fine. All right, y'all. So thank you all for being with me today. I'm Rev Melissa. I'm an ordained interfaith minister. I'm a licensed religious science practitioner, and I am a purpose coach. And that Triune is my ministry of joy, where I support people in living life in joy, connected to their yes, connected to their yes. So if you would like a one-on-one visioning process session, reach out to me and I can guide you through that process one-on-one. If you can't wait until the 29th, or if you want to take it beyond that, reach out, DM me, and we can set up some time. All right. So now it is time for some joy news. It's time for some joy news. So let's get into it. So podcast, your podcast. So this is so fabulous. So the other day I realized that if I say, "Hey Alexa, play Sit with Rev Melissa," it does, right? So y'all can listen to the podcast. If you have a Amazon Alexa device on your smart TV, that's where I have it, on my smart TV, and it will go get it for you. Yes, it will. So Sit with Rev Melissa, the Spiritual Partnership series is the new series that's up. I dropped episode 1 on Saturday. There's a new episode every Saturday. The Spiritual Partnership is no joke. It's about the consciousness of your relationship. You know, that's a great thing to focus visioning on. What is God's idea for my relationship? Mm, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. So y'all can listen to the podcast on Hey Alexa, on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, and other podcast platforms. So I'm excited that the podcast is expanding. It's wonderful. Sunday is a new episode, a new show for Living Life in Joy. And my special guest is Sonia Talito. She is the president and CEO of Dignity of Children. It's an organization that she founded, and the mission is to inspire youth to thrive, to inspire youth to thrive. I'm so tongue-tied today. I don't know why. So please join me for that show, Living Life in Joy, Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We had a wonderful show this past Sunday with Jay White from Project Love Strong. And so I just want to put it out there again. Please support Project Love Strong, the work that they're doing. You can do so by going to their website, projectlovestrong.org. And shout out and blessings and thank you again to Simone for her beautiful donation to Project Love Strong. So the Joy Line, y'all, a way for you to support my ministry of joy is by supporting my Joy Line. I have Sip Joy mugs. I have Joy socks. I have t-shirts, long sleeve and short sleeve. And there's some of my congregation of joy who have supported my ministry by purchasing some Joy merchandise. Yes, they're the Joy, Joy, Joy socks, rocking on with Nan right there. So go to my Etsy store, I Am Rev Melissa, and you can make your purchase right there. I so appreciate it. And I want to just shout out Gladys. Yes, Gladys made her purchase yesterday of my Sip Joy mug. So Gladys is on its way to you very soon. And when you get it, take a picture and send it to me. And you know I've been shouting out Gladys all month because she is the creator of Asante Jewels. And I don't have her jewelry on today, but I had on a fabulous piece yesterday with the necklace and the earrings. So check out yesterday's Sip because it was divine. It was divine. So please support Asante Jewels also. All right. So we are fast approaching the next Hero Hoodies drop. The movement is we're in March, we're in mid-March, and this weekend it is on. So to give us a Hero Hoodies update is the creator of Hero Hoodies and my producer, Sekou Wrights, here with the Hero Hoodies update. Come on, Sekou, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, so I had to come back. This is like the run-up to this weekend. I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday. And notice the confidence that I said that with today versus yesterday, because all kinds of things have happened in 24 hours. So I made a list. I got it written on the back of my Slim and Huskies box. Thanks, Simone, for the shout out. She was talking about being conscientious about who I'm advertising for. So anyway, It's a long list. I'm going to go fast. Since yesterday, Lenora, team captain from Walls, Mississippi, volunteered to come get me and take me to Louisville. So that's that. Then Simone came through and sent me money to rent a car and cover my hotel. So there's that. Then one of the car companies I work with said they're going to see what they can do about giving me a test drive car to drive myself. So there's that. All of a sudden, I went from 0 option to multiple options overnight. And then also I got the Hero Hoodie Cream that arrived yesterday. Let me throw that up. That arrived here yesterday. Icy blue to match the hero color on the hoodies. That's Wasita. That's the woman who created it. She lives in New York, where she's a doula. So that arrived yesterday. My box from you arrived yesterday with all the toiletries to give. And speaking of which, Ma'at Akmini, she reached out to me to say that she is also sending me a box of travel size goods. So that's on its way. In God's Hand, a local nonprofit that works directly with Unhoused here in Nashville, they're packing up things for me to take to Louisville with me to give to the women and women's shelters. So I'm excited about that. And you mentioned Gladys a couple times. Gladys just ordered a sheet of stainless steel so that she can make Hero Hoodie lapel pins that I can wear on my lapel and my hoodie. So watch out for that. She's going to do one for each of the states that Hero Hoodies is in. So super excited about that. And also, I got T-shirts now. This happened a few days ago, but I forgot about it. But orders came in yesterday after your sip yesterday. Orders came in from Jacinta, from Gladys, from Stella. And so people ordered the T-shirt. So I've got Hero Hoodie T-shirts now. And one of the T-shirts is blue and white. So it's a different color scheme. So if blue and white resonates with you for any reason, if that's your sorority colors, fraternity colors, if it's your team colors, whatever, there is now a Hero Hoodie blue and white shirt in the store. And I think that's it. And shout out to Lenora, because before, when she said that her team goal was 10 hoodies for the children's size hoodies, she went ahead and bought all 10 of them. She did it herself. She was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So shout out to Lenora. And shout out to all of you for supporting. I am overwhelmed and excited. And clearly, I'm going to Louisville in style. And then the weekend after that, I'll be in Memphis and in Mississippi. So super excited. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, y'all. Now, usually on Sunday in Praise, which is now Living Life in Joy with Sunday in Praise sprinkled on, we have a whole Won't He Do It segment. Now that was a testimony. Because yesterday, what was yesterday? What do you want? And Sekou got on here and he said what he wanted. He wanted a way to get to Louisville. And before SIP ended, y'all, Lenora was like, I got you. Before the day was over, Simone was like, I got you, right? Gladys was like, I got you. The other folks who have gone to giveherohoodies.com and made purchases. And my yacht said, I got you, and sending toiletries. This is how the universe works. When we give it some guidance, right? When we give it some guidance, it needs something to hone in on. Yes. Madam CJ Walker knows what she's talking about, right, Gladys? Right, Simone? Yes. It is pretty hard. Y'all, for the Lord to guide you if you haven't made up your mind which way to go. Sekou said, I'm going to Louisville, y'all. The universe said, okay, that's where we're going. That was the guidance. Yes. And then what happens? In less than 24 hours, y'all, this is not like a fluke. This is the law in action. When you work the law works. Yes, all the time. So what do you want? Tell God. Catch God's idea for your life. Catch it. Because you can have it. Yes, Simone, God finds a way. And guess what, y'all? God is the way. God is the way. The universe is the way. The Lord is the way. That is how it works. That is how it works. This just doesn't work for hero hoodies, y'all. This works for everything. It works for Asante Jewels. It works for everything, Patricia. What do you want? Don't limit it. Catch God's idea. Put yourself in the position to catch God's idea. Open up, and let it just flow. It's time to go, y'all. It's time to go. All right, y'all. All right. So that is some joy news. I am so thrilled. I am so happy, Sekou. And I say, Sekou and I have this thing where we just say, of course. Of course that happened. It ain't a surprise. Of course. Of course. Because that's how the Lord works. That's how God works. Of course. And thank you, because we are in the gratitude. We are in the gratitude. We are so humbly grateful for the way in which God moves and grooves. This is a groove, y'all. Y'all feel that rhythm? Oh, you got to feel the rhythm. Feel the rhythm of life pulsating through you. I'm about to go. All right, y'all. That's it. That's it. Tomorrow, tomorrow, we will continue with our now what? God's idea for your life. What is God's idea for my life? All right, y'all. Y'all want to catch it? All right. So, in closing, please give to New Thought Media Network so that they can continue to provide uplifting programming like Sit with Rev Melissa. I so appreciate it. Go to ntmedia.org, press donate, and give. All right, my congregation of joy is no joke. We do the work. We are obedient. We are guiding our life in alignment. Oh, goodness gracious, y'all. Peace and blessings. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy. Yes, we are. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes. Connected to our yes.